Gia and Tanya are my morning coffee.
Good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of My Morning Coffee, where the conversation is always hot, bold, organic, and full of flavor. And again, we promise not to waste your time. We promise to make sure that you leave here a little more enlightened, and we promise that we will be the best start to your day. This morning, we have brought together Detroit and California. Detroit and Los Angeles, actually. I'll leave my Bay Area roots out of it today and we'll stick with Los Angeles and Detroit. But I definitely want to introduce you to Mr. Marquis Taylor. He is the MC, the founder of Detroit Worldwide Podcast. And I'm telling you, anything Detroit that you can think of that's historical, that's amazing, that gives you questions, makes you want to know more. He's talked to them, and he's pretty amazing. He's an amazing writer. And without further ado, I want to go ahead and add him on and introduce Mr. Marquis Taylor. Hey, how you doing?
What up, though?
I don't know. You let us know what up, though.
Well, I just wanted to give that greeting as native Detroiters always do. What up, though? That's the way that we greet each other. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for doing this. This is the first time I've done something like this. And actually, where I am at, it is 12 noon, so it's lunchtime.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So give the people a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and your podcast, and what else you have going on, because you're an amazing writer. So talk about that also, but let them know the good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Marquis Taylor. I currently live in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, Minnesota area. I've been here for 7.5 years. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. But the cool thing about me is that I host a podcast called Detroit Worldwide, which launched almost 2 years ago. I think it'll be coming up in May, actually, to be exact. So we have close to 70 episodes. I interview people who are from Detroit, whether they live in Minnesota like me or live in California, Texas, Georgia, places like that. And we really focus on amplifying that Black excellence that comes from Detroit. Love to Chicago, love to Oakland, love to Philly, those places, but ain't no place like Detroit. And I say this with all sincerity, and I say this jokingly as well, because there is a lot of people who come from Detroit. It's just that Black excellence. We are the heartbeat of Black culture, Black America, the nation. People drive our cars, people listen to our music. And yeah, and then as far as that, wrapping up, I'm also a writer. I write for the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder, among other publications. And what I do there, I interview performing artists, whether they be independent or national. I also highlight Black-owned businesses and just anything that has to do with Black people, because it is a Black publication. So yeah.
I love that. So let's go ahead and get started with what's in your cup. Miss Gia, let's start with you. What's in your cup and what have you been up to?
All right. I just want to say, all right, D-Town. Actually, I have 2 cups this morning. I have coffee in this cup, and also I have a little mimosa in this cup. So I'm going to go this cup first.
It's one of those type of Mondays.
Well, yeah. Kind of, sort of, a lot of stuff been happening, but that little earthquake thing that happened this morning, hold on.
Ooh.
She was like, give me that mimosa.
Yeah, mimosa. I had to have a little mimosa because, I was like, earthquake hit different when you get older than it did when you was younger. I'm just going to say that. But, yeah, so what's in my cups? I had coffee and I got a little mimosa. But what I've been up to, actually, Tanya, I've been up to quite a bit. Between last week and now. But this past weekend, I was my weekend started Friday. I got up Friday morning and I went and did a photo shoot. I didn't do the photo shoot personally. I was there at the photo shoot with another designer by the name of Give Me Body, Nikki Allen. She's coming out with a new swimsuit line. And her and I, we collaborated on the swimsuit, this new line. And my part of the collaboration is actually, if you guys don't know, I'm the Mahogany Box. I create a lot of different things. I do jewelry, tees, clothes, head wraps, and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't know. I also do printing. So this collaboration came about. The designer Nikki, she had an idea for some fabric. She wanted a design, a certain print on a fabric. So she got with me because that's something that I can do. So I created her design, her print onto the garment, onto the fabric that her swimsuits are going to be made with. So we did a photo shoot this weekend, which was awesome. It's fire. I can't wait to she gets all the pictures in the video and stuff. It was really fun. I miss doing that kind of stuff with her. We've collaborated before on something else. And so just being out there in the morning at the pool with the models and stuff was really fun. And actually to see how you take a raw piece of garment and you do your thing with it, and then you see the finished work, and then she puts her spin on it, her swimsuit design, and voila, you got some banging swimsuits for women who got body, because it's all about got body. She's a designer who specializes in all sizes of swimwear, but she tries to teach women how to embrace their body and what however it comes and stuff. You don't have to be a size 2 to wear a swimsuit. You can be, you can be plus size, you can be thick, you can have hips and butt and all that and look banging in a swimsuit. And y'all will see when she launches the swimsuit, there's somebody out there, man. I was like, whoa, stuff. She always try to get me to get out there. She's like, Gia, when you coming? When you gonna come? I was like, girl, cut it out. But one day I'm gonna surprise all y'all. One day I'm gonna surprise her. And I'm gonna actually, I'm a model for her in one of her swimsuits. I don't know when, but it's coming. Cause when you get older, you just kind of get that kind of like, fuck it, kind of attitude. And you say, hey, you're gonna do it. But I did that, and also I've been working with another company. They're having a launch party. It's called GetOff.com. It's an adult self-care business. And the owner of that, Nefertiti, she's having an event coming up in April this month. So I've been working with her for doing some merchandise for her event. So I've been doing a lot of printing this weekend. That's been keeping me busy. So that's kind of fun. So
you also had the hair down on Saturday. I saw you had the hair down, girl. You let everybody see you.
Oh, well, yeah, because Saturday we had our sorority, our chapter, our college chapter, Omega Kappa chapter of Zeta Phi Betas, our 40th anniversary, Cal State University Northridge, woo woo, Omega Kappa. We had our 40th anniversary with a Zoom call, Zoom party. So that was fun. So I kind of let my hair down. Well, I've been trying to let my hair down, let it breathe a little bit, because I have it up in a ponytail or in braids. So I kind of had it down, but it was a bit much because as you know, it's a lot of hair, is thick, and I don't really like to deal with it. But it was out.
You know what I'm noticing? You don't like dealing with anything that's difficult. Your hair, your people.
Well, no, it's not that, because I've dealt with my hair and my people. My profession is a difficult profession, and I've been doing it for 30 years. So I do deal with difficult stuff, but some things I'll be like, look, it ain't that serious. And my people, when they're difficult, girl, it don't go over well with me. So I've been praying on that a lot. Hold on, let me get a little sip.
It's interesting to watch, actually, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. So no, I do deal with difficult things. It's just, I don't know. Some things just don't. It's hard for things to move me. I guess to say that. Yeah.
But so, you know what I'll do? I'll let the people see a little bit of what moves Gia.
Said it's time to step into the light and use every bit of the power I have.
So for those that didn't know, she can act up a little bit. She tries to be shy, but she's kind of stank on it sometimes.
Well, Tanya, you know me, but
I
and
do.
The people, they're getting to know me, so I'm letting them in a little bit more, a little bit. You gotta treat the people like you treat a dude when you first meet them. You just gotta give them a little bit of time, because if you give them everything at once, it's like
come back.
Right. So you just gotta give them a little bit. So that's what I've been doing. I've been giving y'all just a little bit.
Oh my God, Mr. Taylor, what is in your cup, and what have you been up to? Show us your cup. Is there anything special about your cup? Let's talk about it.
Just hot chocolate. Nothing special about it. It's just a regular green cup.
Dude, so just hot chocolate. You like super grown and you have a lot going on. Ain't no caffeine up in there?
No caffeine. Prior to this interview, I just went to the store, got some Gatorade to use to hydrate myself at the gym later, and I have some good old fashioned H2O. I got
So
nothing.
You from D-Town, and all you got is hot chocolate. D-Town.
I'm confused. Okay.
I gotta work. I'm working from home. I can't, be drinking on the job and stuff. I mean, technically I could, but not.
I love it. So what have you been up to recently? What's been new with you?
Couple things. I mean, just on the paper side, I had the opportunity to interview great person by the name of Gary Hines, who is like one of the original members of Sounds of Blackness, and kind of does some production and directing for them. And we just spoke about what's going on here in the Twin Cities with the Derek Chauvin trial. Of course, the person who killed George Floyd. I don't big that person up or anything like that. But we just kind of spoke about, current events was going on. So just transcribing that, it was an honor because he is someone who has been here in Minnesota for a very long time. Was very good friends with like Prince and people who are from the Minneapolis Sound, Morris Day, Alexander O'Neal, people like that. So we just chopped it up and, learning about what's going on with the Sounds of Blackness. And, of course, the podcast is always out. Just released the episode this past Friday with a individual by the name of Ken Nelson, who is a writer, director, and film producer, and he has some wonderful work. I encourage you all to check it out, and just interviewing people and working, stuff like that, just on the grind.
So since you don't drink caffeine, what do you use to kind of get you up and keep your energy high? Because what you do takes a lot of energy, being detail oriented and all that good stuff. So where do you get your high? Where do you get your energy?
Get it from the Most High. That's where I get my energy from. If I'm being completely honest, I drink pop here and there, but I don't I'm not a coffee person. I like hot chocolate and tea. That's it.
Is that a Detroit thing, pop? Y'all call it pop? Is that what it's at?
I think it's a Midwest thing. They call it pop in Minnesota too. So pop.
All right.
Good stuff. Well, let's see. Coffee in my cup. We have a busy Monday. What have I been up to? We just got back from a place where they smoke indoors, which lets me know that's definitely not a place I could ever live. We had about 11 baseball games in 3 days. So
I saw that.
It's hot out there. People are weird. They smoke indoors, and I was happy to be home. So with that being said, it is the beginning of baseball season, though, so that's always exciting for me, the Major League Baseball. So I've been following how Major League Baseball left Georgia for the All-Star game. So I'm still a supporter of Major League Baseball. And it's just been a lot of baseball and work for me. We have the commission work, LA versus hate. So we are continuing to push that message and make sure that initiative is running rampant through LA. Hopefully we can run down a lot of the hate. But other than that, just grinding, We got this podcast, the Leaders and Learners, all the Sand and Shore stuff. But it's just been a lot of sand and shores, grinding, and baseball. So, without further ado, are you a fan? Are you I see the hat on, but let me know. Are you a Detroit fan or what? Who's your baseball team?
I follow the Tigers. I can't say I'm a big fan. I think it's because the Tigers haven't been good in so long. If the playoffs are on, I'll follow. But yeah, as far as following it throughout the regular season, I might pick it up during points of the season. The Twins, I know they're okay, but again, the Tigers haven't been good for such a few years that I just haven't been following. I know people, the famous players and stuff, but I'm more of an NBA type of person.
Does it go without saying who your basketball team is?
Oh yeah, the Detroit Pistons. I would have had on my Pistons had if it, matched my sweatshirt I had on. But no, Pistons all day. That's my favorite team. That's one of my favorite sports teams of all time. And then as far as like football is concerned, I shouldn't say this as a Detroiter, but I can't rock with the Lions is because they've always lost as long as I've been alive. Like I'll cheer for them, but I'm a Steelers fan, so that's where my legion. And I think it's because of Jerome Bettis because he's from Detroit. So I think that might be why. But yeah, Steelers all day for football, Pistons all day for basketball.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that you're a Piston fan. I'm sorry, but it's okay. Because right over here, because you came on, you was and I was like, I almost had to come out. I was like, wait a minute, it sounds like he might be trying to set trip or something, because he was all about his whole Detroit thing and stuff. But over here, it's LA all the way, baby. Born and raised Los Angeles, but I have some ties to the state of Michigan. I have family there. My family was there. My mother actually was there. She lived there for probably over 25 years. She went there with her sister to help her sister out, and she stayed. And so I have some cousins that are from Michigan. They're from Flint.
Okay.
And I used to go to Michigan every year for the holiday to visit my family. So I'm familiar with Detroit and all those kind of things and stuff. So when Tanya said you were coming on, and she sent me your information, and I started thinking that I was kind of messing with your city. And I was like, I said, well, ain't nobody in Detroit that I really need to know about. I want to know about, like, who's in Detroit, that kind of thing and stuff. That's what I was saying. I was like, I said, but okay. I said, maybe he gonna let us know some stuff. But I was just messing with you and stuff.
It's all good.
I know there's a lot of things that has happened in the past and it's happening now and probably continue happening in Detroit. And we know Detroit was on the news, a couple of years ago about the whole water situation and stuff like that. So I know you got some intel about that, but so I'm just, I'm ready to hear more about you and about Detroit. What tell me everything. Tell us all everything about Detroit. Why should we want to come to Detroit? Why should we want to relocate to Detroit? All that good stuff about Detroit. And then I'm curious to know about your podcast because you said it's international or worldwide Detroit. So what made you get in? What made you do that? So I'm sure we got viewers that probably curious about that, and stuff like that. Given that we all three of us have a podcast, so people are always, I'm sure, curious about why do you get into podcasting and things like that. So I'm ready to hear from you, Marquis. D-Town, not a baseball fan of Detroit, but a basketball fan of Detroit, and not a football fan. So I don't know.
Definitely a people fan. So
a people fan. Yeah, he a people fan and stuff. But anyway, but I feel you. I'm not a baseball fan either. Tanya's a big baseball fan. I don't care. But like last year when the Dodgers won, I did make a little Dodgers shirt and wore it, rep. Because I had a little bit of work. That if they won, I would rep Dodger stuff, and I'm a woman of my word, so I rep my Dodger T-shirt. But I've probably only been to one Dodger game my whole entire life, and I'm not young, so that goes to show you, baseball don't really do nothing for me. I'm more of a basketball fan and football. I don't have a football team anymore because I was a Ram fan when I was a kid. Then they left us. And now they back, but I'm like, I'm like one of them chicks that you leave me and you come back, I'm done with you. You left me, so I'm kind of like whatever Rams and stuff. That's kind of like me. So I just like the football. So the day of the game, I'll decide what team I'm gonna root for that day, and then that's how I roll with football. But basketball, I'm a Laker fan. But I got other players that I like. So my husband gets on me because, I'm also Team Curry. They're my relatives. They don't know that yet, but they're my relatives and stuff. So, I rep with Golden State, only because of Steph and Aisha, that kind of thing and stuff. But my heart, I bleed that Laker. I'm a Laker till I die and stuff. But, I will recognize other good players.
So what are we going to do? We're getting you a purple casket, or is that what we're doing?
No, Tanya, we ain't doing all that now.
Girl,
look,
we ain't doing all that. You gotta pray. Listen, you gotta start praying for your Lakers, okay?
Look,
pray.
But look, they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right. Hey, we got a few hurt players. Hey, Okay.
Y'all
It
bought
happens.
the player, but I
It
digress.
happens, you know.
So what's up, Mr. Taylor? Tell us about the people of Detroit and talk to us a little bit more about your podcast and the people that you choose to have on your show.
That is a great question. Well, I mentioned the podcast launched 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years on May the 1st, I believe. So coming up on that 2-year anniversary, hitting 70 episodes. I think I'm now at 65 and I'm going to be putting out this Friday. And what I look for, the people who, first of all, you have to be proud of the fact that you're from Detroit, because not everybody who is from Detroit, as with most cities, they may not actually be proud of it, the fact that they're coming from Detroit. And then secondly, I really look at people who have good stories. So I have had a lot of Black entrepreneurs on the podcast. I've had people who work in media, people who are musicians, artists, you name it. And I really focus on those stories, but I'm very sensitive to people who were first in their families to attend and graduate college, because that's something that's part of my identity. It was a big part of my identity. So I focus on those stories, and I just, we just vibe out, talk about Detroit. What was it like growing up in Detroit? I think the most impactful and enriching conversations are those who are people who don't currently live in the state of Michigan, because I feel like if you can take that game that Detroit taught you and apply that to like California or Georgia or Texas, Illinois, places like that, and you're able to succeed and thrive, I think that makes for very enriching conversations. Like, for instance, I interviewed a gentleman by the name of Orlando Arnold, and he owns a sports agency, but he's based out in Miami, Florida, I believe. And he's an HBCU graduate. And then to come to find out that he and I attended the same high school. He's a couple years older than me. But saying all this to say, like, what are the odds of an HBCU graduate, somebody who owns their own sports agency, living in Florida, and they have clientele across Major League Baseball and the NFL? Like, that's dope to have that conversation, or to interview Prince, who I'm a big Prince fan. I interviewed his bodyguard on the podcast, and he's from Detroit. And we were able to like strike up a friendship just on account of me living in Minneapolis, which is where Prince is from, and us having that Detroit connection. So, or somebody like Courtney Hicks, who's done some work across media channels in Washington and Baltimore and Chicago and currently in Georgia. So I really try to highlight those people who are just leaders and innovators across their mediums. And I think the most enriching stories are those of people who may not necessarily be in the state of Michigan. Not to say that I don't interview people who actually live in Detroit. I think those are powerful as well, but it's just something about somebody that goes to a different state and just doing the damn thing, and like take that game they got from the D and putting it in their current situation. They're just thriving. So yeah, that's the podcast.
It's interesting to me. I've struggled with people. I love being from the Bay Area, but I've always wanted my people to expand out, right? And go experience other places, because it allows for them to be a lot more holistic. So for those people that don't ever leave Michigan or the Bay or wherever they're from, what are your thoughts on that and their ability to touch others on a larger scale? And what has been some of the struggles that your guests have had that kept them either from leaving or from going back to Michigan?
You got some great questions, I tell you. I will say, for people who are in Michigan, the ones I've interviewed has probably been more so family situations where they have to stay, where all their families there they're caring for, whether it be someone is ill or just someone in their family. They just have things there that are keeping them there. And I think those situations are more powerful too, because they kind of keep me abreast of what's going on in the city. Like, I haven't lived in Detroit, I think it's been about 10 or 11 years. So I go often. Well, I used to, without the pandemic and stuff. I haven't been able to go in the last year or so, but saying this to say, like, they can keep me abreast of what's going on. They can kind of like if it's a guest that I want to talk to, and they can like kind of give me some inside information, like, hey, you shouldn't rock with this person. Don't get this person on your podcast, or this is the person you want to have on your podcast. I would say that's been fun. And just thinking about like the entrepreneurial things that they're doing. Like I interviewed a cat by the name of Jonathan Galloway, who owns and operates a podcast studio in his own podcasting company. Like that's huge. He's doing it right in his neighborhood, and he's putting on other people from his neighborhood, and he's almost like operating in like a Barry Gordy type of situation. So seeing that, people who aren't returning to the state of Michigan, I think it might just be because of situations where they may be thriving. They may be in Georgia and they got a business going on, or they might be in North Carolina and they got something going on. And whether or not they decide to return to the state of Michigan, that's up to them. But I also think that those who I have interviewed where they, for instance, somebody who's in your state, Tanya, they lived in California and they made films and stuff out there, but they returned to Michigan, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago, and they've been able to carry that success that they had in California, making movies and stuff, and was able to make a movie about Detroit, a guy by the name of David Tinsley. So it's just so many like good stories. It's like something for everybody. If just the stories that I've heard, and it's been able to inspire me in many ways. If I'm being completely honest, like they inspire me deeply to just keep podcasts going, even in my own personal life, just to keep pushing.
So Marquis, I don't know if you said it when we first came on. How did you wind up in Minnesota?
How did I wind up in Minnesota? The short version is I love Prince. No, I'm joking. I really do love Prince. But I applied to a job after I completed graduate school. This is 2013, and my field is in education. So I'm an educator by like my 9 to 5, my trade. And I was applying for jobs everywhere, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Washington, you name it, just within like that Midwest area. And it just so happens that the Minnesota opportunity presented itself. And I tell people all the time, I had no idea about Minnesota. The only things I knew, I love Prince. I knew that the Vikings were here, the Twins, Timberwolves, and I had never been to Minnesota a day in my life until they flew me out for an interview. And been here for 7.5 years and have just done some amazing work, like beyond my wildest dreams, to be able to meet Morris Day, to be in the company of Prince, and write articles and stuff about people who inspired this music, because a lot of this predates me. I'm 37 years old, so when Prince was at the height of his career, this is when Purple Rain was out. So
it sounds like work took you out of Michigan. And back to Tanya's question, I think, Tanya, a lot of people, like you say, I think a lot of us when we were raised, stay close to home type thing. The whole thing about why people don't leave, like you said, you encourage people to leave the Bay Area and places like that. I think it was a lot of times in the past, it's probably been the sense of comfort, being, that kind of thing and stuff. And so it's kind of like, because I was like that. I thought I would never leave California, but as I gotten older and through my travels, I've entertained maybe leaving and living somewhere else. But younger, I was like, I went to school in LA, went to college in, Los Angeles, so to speak, in the Valley. I didn't venture out, but now like young people around me and like my, through my nieces, nephews, my god kids and things like that, I encourage them to go, they have an opportunity to go to school in another state, to go, because you're right, Tanya, you grow and you learn so much by leaving home. But I know it's hard sometimes. It's scary because you have all the stability at home. You have your home base. You got your aunties, your uncles. You got Pookie. You got Ray Nam. You got everybody that you need right there, at home. But when you go to somewhere else, and you somewhere else, and it's like, shoot, I'm hungry. I ain't got nothing to eat. I ain't got, ain't no auntie here. Ain't nobody here. Stuff like that. So that kind of sometimes. What if? Yeah. What if you kind of hesitant to leave? But I think most people that are they're not living where they were born and raised, they're there because of a job probably took them there, or something like that, or school. Some people go to school. The ones that do go to school out of state and they actually like it. Like one of my nieces, she went to HBCU and she ain't been back home. I think she came back maybe for a little bit, but now she's back in Louisiana and stuff. And she likes it, I guess. That's why she's there. And she has her own business. So she's thriving in her field over there, being an entrepreneur and stuff like that. So, but her going to school out there got her there. I think if she didn't go to school there, she might not have looked to live in Louisiana and stuff. So I think broadening your horizons is always good, and we should encourage that more with people to step out, but and see what's out there.
Mr. Taylor, tell me, with all of the guests that you had, and then your writing that you do, what do you enjoy more, your writing or your podcast, and why?
Got these questions. I love it. I will say, let me preface by saying that my podcast got me back into writing. Because prior to me writing again in 2019, I hadn't written an article in 10 years, because this is something I did when I was an undergrad and in high school. So I started writing articles probably like 2001, 2002. I remember writing an article about Jay-Z's album, The Blueprint. This is when I was in high school. And initially, I was a journalism major in undergrad before I switched over to English. So from 2005 to, let's say, 2009, I had written a multitude of articles. But as I started podcasting, I started asking people questions like the questions you're asking me. I was like, wait a minute, like this can easily be an article. Like the questions that I'm asking, and I can kind of like transcribe that into an article. So to answer your question, I think for me, I like doing them in like different seasons. So like my podcast season will probably be over within the end of April, but I've had the episodes recorded in advance. So then I can kind of focus on like the website, putting that together, but then also like doing some writing and stuff. So I would say the writing is something that comes from a divine place, because the words that a person is conveying to me as I'm interviewing them, and to transcribe that and to put that in a way that the audience can understand, is literally like a gift from God. And I thank God every time that I do write an article, because it's something I hadn't done for 10 years. And it was a big part of my life, big part of my identity. But the podcast is just as powerful, because I feel like had I not moved to Minnesota, the podcast would not have been created. Because if I was in Michigan, I wouldn't be like Detroit Worldwide. Detroit is up the street. I can go home and see my family and stuff like that. But being in Minnesota made me want to connect with people from Detroit, because I used to travel all the time, whether it's in Washington or Atlanta, and people would always ask me questions about my hat. You from the D, and, asking me questions or whatnot. But the writing, being able to see Jill Scott in concert, who I love, that's one of my favorite artists, and Tanya Raphael Sadiq, who's from Oakland, that's one of my favorite artists too, to be able to go to that concert and see his genius, and interview Alexander O'Neal and Jelly Bean Johnson, and like talking to Morris Day. Like, it's amazing to do those things. But writing takes so much out of me. So that's why I say, like, I'm grateful to God, because it comes from a divine place, that it was a big part of my identity. But it was something I had done in tears. I forgot how much I missed it. I missed it so much.
Wow, I love to hear that. What is something jaw-dropping about Michigan that most people that aren't from there might not know, that you think is important, that folks should know about Michigan, about your hometown?
State of Michigan, I mean, if you go drink some pop, you can get a 10-cent deposit for every time you recycle. So not that I'm incentivizing people to go drink pop, but I actually have one, in fact, right here. So this is this is Fago. This is pop that's made in Detroit. And for every 10 cents, for every pop that you drink, you recycle it, you get 10 cents. So again, not to incentivize people drinking pop, because that's the cause of many things like diabetes and stuff like that. So we don't want to drink it in moderation. The cuisine, the Detroit style pizza, the square pizza, so delicious. We got corned beef, Coney Islands, which are the chili dogs with the chili sauce and stuff like that. I know different states have their different variations. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, we don't talk about Detroit. I mean, Detroit is, I think it is the blackest city in America. I think we're about like 85, 90%. So that's how I can go to a place like Atlanta and feel like I'm at home, or go to a place like Washington and feel like I'm at home. I haven't been to Oakland yet, but I hear it's just like Detroit. I would love to go one day because so many of my favorite artists are from there, like Raphael Sadiq, Sheila E., places like people like that. Trying to think. I mean, Motown, Big Sean. I can go on and on, but
well, you forgot to talk about the music from Detroit. You know, it's a lot of music that comes out that came out of Detroit.
Yeah, Motown era. I mean, I know that's a lot like my parents' era and stuff like that. I mean, Stevie Wonder, although he's from Saginaw, he spent a lot of time in Detroit. Same with Michael Jackson, even though he's from Gary, Indiana. They spent a lot of their time in Detroit. And yeah, I mean, Big Sean, T Grizzly, Royce 5'9", people like that. Detroit is a place unlike no other. I'll put it like this. But Oakland also has that same thing I just mentioned, like Raphael Sadiq, Sheila E., people like that. I'm in Minnesota, of course, Prince. So yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I'm just a person that loves music, especially black music, black artists.
Do you plan on going back to Detroit? Do you plan for Detroit to be your final resting ground? I guess. Okay.
That is very hard to say. I wish I had an answer to that. I don't know. I think for me, if an opportunity presents itself, career-wise, I can't just like leave on the limb without like not having a job or anything like that. So I'm not that perfect person. I need like something to, bring me home. But if not, I'm very comfortable repping Detroit. What's the saying? Hardly home, but always repping. I'm comfortable, doing that, even though I was home a lot before the pandemic. But I'm just proud to just be like, an ambassador, if you will, about Detroit and just talking about what it did for me, the people we've had on, what it's done for my family. I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur, owned a record store in Detroit, so did people from my family. So Detroit did a lot of great things for me personally, directly and indirectly. So I'm always going to rep the D, So to answer the question, I have no idea.
I love that. In your writing, really quick, what is the most powerful piece that you feel like you have written? And then where can the people go check that out at? Because I think it's important. We all have various writing styles. I freelance also, but you have your own voice to your writing. And I would love to hear your most powerful or difficult to write piece that you've written.
Ooh, that is a great question. So many good ones. I'm just going to probably choose two that come to mind. I mentioned Jill Scott, and that was the last concert I saw before everything shut down. We were trying to get an interview scheduled, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But I was so comfortable just being in that concert because this was for her 20th anniversary to her first album. And I remember that album coming out when I was 16 years old, working at my cousin's record store, and just like what it meant to me to like hear that and then covering it as a 36-year-old, then 36-year-old man at the time. That was fun. Like, whoa, like I remember like when I first heard this song and just being able to like write about it, and I was able to talk about that music organically. And then the photo that our photographer took was just so amazing. It just captured like Jill Scott's elegance. Another article that comes to mind, Jelly Bean Johnson, who is the lead drummer for The Time, one of the original members. And we just kicked it. Like, I was able to interview him, and I just told him, like, I'm a big fan. Like, I know a lot of the stuff that y'all did predates me. But in him talking about like what Detroit meant to him, like, man, we had our first show at Detroit when we were at The Time, and they showed us so much love and stuff like that. And just hearing him like talk about, him conceptualizing, some of the songs like 777, 9311 and The Walk and stuff like that, and just playing those things, like that was amazing. I'll probably go one more just because I'm on the topic of like interviews and stuff. Alexander O'Neal. My wife is a big fan of Alexander O'Neal. So we were able to interview. I was able to interview him, but also meet him after concert after the article had come out.
Oh, wow.
And for him to say like, man, I love that article, man. Thank you. That meant a lot. Like, dang, like that was dope. Because even like the people I interviewed, they'll see the article after the fact. Even like Jelly Bean Johnson, he posted it on his website. But like to hear somebody actually vocalize and say, thank you and give me a hug, like, dang, that made my day. So
one of the things I tell PR clients and anyone that does their own PRs, when a freelance writer, when any writer actually writes about you or does something and you get those mentions, make sure you thank them because they didn't have to do that, right? Our time is limited. It takes a lot of work to get that stuff done, but it takes very little to just show a little gratitude. So I think that was dope that he did that for you. And, anyone else, if you get coverage, people write about you, just send them a thank you. It's the least you can do.
So I'm going to say it ahead of time. I'm going to say thank you, Tanya, ahead of time. Because I know you're going. So I'm giving my thanks right now to you. Thank you. So I put that out there, everything. But Marquis, you can see I'm the jokester, right? It sounds like, but no, I was serious about that. Thank you. And I put some in the mail for you too, girl. Okay.
I got you.
It sounds like you have a lot of music, your musical background. You're really into music. So I want to, before we have to get out of here, we want to talk about, did you watch the Verses last night?
Because you got an old soul.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
That was so powerful. And I tweeted out, I seen both of those artists live here in Minnesota. I saw the Isley Brothers twice. I think it was like 5 years ago, or over the last 5 years, Earth, Wind, and Fire. That was a great concert because this is at the State Fair and Sinbad had opened for them. So that was like even like more amazing. But yes, like that Versus was like, initially I thought I was like, maybe it should be like the Gap Band versus the Isley Brothers because of like the Charlie Wilson and Ron Isley, them being like young people know who they are, but it was still great. The Isleys, I mean, they go back to the 50s. They could have.
Yeah, it was one of the best verses to me of all time. But also my husband that kind of said too was talking about that maybe Isley Brothers versus the OJs and stuff because they have music that go way back that far too. And a lot of people look at the Earth, Wind, and Fire more as a musical kind of like band as opposed to when you compare it to the Isley Brothers. But a lot of us grew up on that kind of music. That was music back then. Stuff we listen to now, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, because I like my fair share of the rap and the trap music and all that ratchetness and stuff like that. But for majority of a lot of us, we grew up on the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire and bands like the Gap Band and OJs and stuff like that. And that was music back then. It was really good music, with music to the soul. So and watching it was funny because we haven't been to a concert in probably almost 2 years now, and so now these verses are the best thing to a concert, I guess, that we're getting right now. So just to watch it, and then also to watch what was happening on social media with the verses was so funny because half the people didn't know that was Ron until it was like midway through the thing. And then Ron came out. Ron said, "I'm finna show y'all." And look, he did the damn thing, and he showed out.
Show you better than he can tell you.
Yeah. He showed up. He said, "Look, y'all think I was gone, but hey, I'm here, and look, I'm looking like a fucking sandwich. Okay, you look like a sandwich to all the women, like a sandwich. Okay." And the women were going crazy, and it was like. Somebody posted,
the men were going crazy.
The man too, but somebody said something about he could take your mama, your grandmama, and your kid. And I said, well, he can take your sister, your auntie, and probably your brother too. He was looking, he was looking right for 79 years old. He looked good. 79 was like where, because I would have never put him that old. But and that's good. That's a testimony to them how that they've been living a good life and trying to stay healthy and stuff like that. But what's your take on the verses and on your social media stream? What kind of things where you sing? I see you worked on your beard game. I see you probably brushed your beard this morning before you came on. I see you, Marquis. I see you because look, beard stock about to go up. I'm letting y'all know it's about to go up after last night.
You stupid.
No, I was gonna say like I'll take off my hat. I don't have hair, but when I get older, I'm gonna definitely grow my beard out like that. The gray one just had a bald head, and I might bring the earring back or something and try to do it for real. So I was like actually trying to get some tips, like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it when I get older. But for now, I'm gonna stay, in my late 30s and go on my beard I got. But I loved it. I mean, social media, much of the same thing people were saying. Commenting on Ryan Isley, because I didn't know it was him at first. Like, hey, where Ryan at? And then he said, right. Like, wait, that's Ryan? He grew his beard out and everything. It was just the Isley just like went in the bag. Like they pulled out like stuff that, let's just say it was on my honeymoon playlist. Let's put it like that. They pulled out some stuff like, dang, like, woo, that's a clip right there. You know what I'm saying? So and not to say that Earth, Wind, and Fire didn't do as good of a job. Like I said, I saw them in concert. They did a hell of a job at the concert I attended. But like the Isleys, like they baggages, and they ain't even go into all the 80s stuff too. That's the thing. Like if he would have pulled out the 80s stuff, like the Caravan of Love and stuff like that, it would have been a rap. So
it just felt good. I think it just felt good to listen to R&B and soul music without cuss words. Like that took me back to, oh, we have singers, we have music, and we have love music without cuss words. What has music come to these days?
Right.
It was a moment of gratitude for where we come from.
It was good, but I don't want to forget. I don't want to let this go either because what's his name, Verdine? Let's talk about that hair. Their hair game was on point. Let me tell you, I'm natural. Like I ain't been in the salon and I ain't had no pressing curl, no perm. But after I saw him, I was like about to call my hairstylist up and say, "Girl, I'll be in there. I'm about to get me a perm again because that hair was laid." I was like, "Look at him." I was like, but it's always laid. But it's like all of us that's going natural. I know we always like, maybe I might need to rethink this natural thing and give me either a pressing curl back or get a little relaxing back in my hair. So
bananas. So Marquis, tell the people what you have coming up and how they can keep up with you.
Yeah, and I forgot to answer the last part of your question. How people can find my writing. Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. So if you just Google that, it is the nation's or one of the oldest Black publications in the nation. So just Google that and just search Marquis Taylor and you'll see some of my work. As far as what else I have going on and how people can contact me, social media, Marquis Taylor. I mean, it's probably a lot of Marquis Taylors, but if you just go to Instagram at Detroit Worldwide, you can search me there at mtaylor313, I think, on Instagram and Twitter. The website should be popping off hopefully sometime in May, but it should the domain is detroitworldwide.com, and I'll have all of my episodes, and I see the little thing at the bottom. Yeah, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. When you listen to this podcast, Detroit Worldwide, 65 episodes as of this Friday, and just gonna keep it pushing. We got something for everybody.
I love it. And I have publicists that watch, so if they want to send you some of their clients to possibly interview some notables from Detroit or Michigan, they should just send it there?
Yeah, you're going to send me an email, info@detroitworldwide.com, or just hit me up on the social media, LinkedIn, stuff like that. But yeah, anybody that's from Detroit, let me preface by saying from Detroit, because we have had some people that fake the funk say they are from Detroit, but then they're from the outskirts of Detroit. Not to say that Flint, I love Flint, but we don't, unfortunately, we don't have a place for Flint. That's
Oh, come on now, Marquis. Come on now. Come on. Show some love for Flint. Now I'm gonna send my cousin. You need to interview my cousin. Stop. See why you acting like that, Marquis? Come on now.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's not Flint worldwide. It's Detroit worldwide. So, and I love people from Flint. I got, family and classmates who are from Flint. But saying all this to say, like, making sure they're actually from Detroit, because we are very particular with people, false representing. You from Detroit, say you from the D, and you like live 30 miles out. Like, nah, you don't got the same experience. So,
Gia, you know what that's like coming from LA. Stop playing.
I know everybody want to get street cred off. I know what you're saying, Marquis. You're right. They be trying to get street cred off, but look. So if y'all ain't from Detroit, and don't call. Don't call him talking about, hey, I want to be interviewed because you're not from Detroit. Be from Detroit. Be for real. Be on the real. Okay. Yeah.
Miss Gia, what do you have going on? What can the people look forward to from you?
Well, this weekend I'll be at the Nothing But Black Flea Market at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall from 11 to 5 p.m. on Saturday. You can always get a hold of me on social media, IG, The Mahogany Box, and Facebook, The Mahogany Box, or my personal page, Gia Neal. If you want to chat with me, you can always find me there.
I love it. And you guys know Tanya McKenzie PR on all social media platforms. They're Sand and Shores for your branding and PR needs. We started, for those of you that are on Twitter, we have a Twitter lunch hour. It's a lunch for the East Coast, breakfast for the West Coast, where we're chatting about PR and branding. So last week, the conversation was about, and I think we're going to continue this conversation, about brands being responsible to the promise that they have made to their community. It got pretty heated. We had a CNN reporter in there and some other individuals, but the conversation needs to be had by you and maybe even your family. The brands that you support, are they upholding the promise that they make to their consumers? So the conversation got pretty heated. It's important work. It's an important conversation. You're having the Coca-Cola, Delta, and H&M, things that have happened in the media in the last couple years with how brands just decide, we're just going to do what we want to do. Should people continue to support them? So we're on Twitter Spaces on Fridays, 9 a.m. on the West Coast and 12 p.m. lunch hour for the East Coast. And if any of you guys want to join in on that conversation, definitely hop on over there. Other than that, stay connected on social media. And I think, Marquis, we owe you a debt of gratitude for showing up today. We appreciate you. We appreciate the opportunity to know more about your podcast, more about your writings. I've read some of his writings. I love it. I love the voice that he comes from, and it definitely shows a high level of thought leadership with some of these questions and the way he writes things about these Michiganders, right? These Detroiters. It's good to know how other people live and what's important to them. And it's just what he said, it's Detroit worldwide. So if you get a chance, check him out. And other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Yeah. Thank you.